from being a board member.
Okay.
They're not compensated for their time. It's a volunteer effort. The only thing that administratively, if you did not hire a staff person or contract out services just to help manage the district, you would just need to pay for your insurances, your accounting fees, and just basic general admin type stuff. Maybe the website fees. You guys have a website, which it sounds like one has been started, so maintaining that. Very minimal.
I have another question.
Yeah.
I'll ask my last one, I guess.
Sorry.
First one is, as far as like the nonprofit, I think one thing we all want to be able to do is to, I guess, vote or pick which ones. Because I know when I was at a city council meeting, there was a group coming in, I think, building homes for the homeless or something. I was talking to someone through the app, next door app actually, who was telling me a lot of bad things about them, that was trying to drill the city for the last minute $800,000 or whatever it was. Had a really bad track record in other cities. So I know that we all want to say like, all right, we're going to pick this nonprofit. What's good about them? Like, can we see like, you know, some kind of report before we pick?
We could also establish our own too.
I think we establish our own.
Yeah, I think we would just establish our own for the.
What I would imagine, and I'd hope that members of the community who believe in this and want to see this would come forward and want to be a part of it, and they would want to be a part of that board.
That's what we would recommend.
That would avoid it.
Versus trying to like research a high,
That could get messy. Someone from outside the community, something goes wrong, and they're like, well,
I wouldn't want
this is
someone
here in
from
New York,
outside.
you can call us that.
I'd rather have someone that has an
community feels,
interest in our community and that's going to be acting in the best interest
That
because
lives here
they
and
live
knows
here.
what's going on.
My last question would be, okay, so we get everyone to vote, and everyone will get the majority. What's our next process? How long would that take before it goes into effect?
So if we were to talk timeline from the very beginning, say we entered into an agreement in January. We have a hard deadline of July 31st. So you're looking at 18 months before we have that hard deadline to put an assessment onto your property tax bill. So you're looking at services starting not till 2021. So these take time. These take a lot of energy and a lot of effort. And some people see that, like, 2021 will be here in no time. Just from my experience doing these, like, time is flying right now. But in 2021 is when you guys would receive your first paycheck if you guys started. Even if you started today, it would be 2021.
I have a question in regards to the first term, like the 5-year term. Can that be changed? Does it have to be 5 years?
It's up to 5 years. So if you guys wanted to do a 3-year term, you could do 3 years. If you wanted to do a 2-year term, you could do 2. We don't recommend that from a cost benefit perspective. These cost a lot of money, and so we're going to set you up to be able to fund your renewal and to start your renewal in 3.5 to 4 years with assessment funds, so you're not having to ask the city again to possibly pay for this. But it takes time. It takes, like I said, 12 months, and it takes money. So we recommend the up to 5 years so you guys could see the services put in place, you guys can start seeing the benefit, and you guys can enjoy that benefit before you have to start going back out and campaigning and working through the renewal again. But it can be shorter. You also have, if in year 3, you're not seeing the benefit and you want to stop the assessment of a 5-year term, every year on the anniversary of the district resolution of formation being adopted by the city, you have 30 days as assessment payers to petition the city. You need 50% petitions to stop the district and to not levy the assessment. So there is an out clause for you within the ordinance.
That's good to know. What I was thinking is if we do this, we would be using, that's why I still encourage see something, say something, still call the police, because we need that comparative data. My thought process was we would be able to utilize the police data to really kind of get a feel, is this even working for us? We could use the data from, before we started, 6 months in, 12 months in, to see, has this made a difference at all? I know that was important to me to see if there was kind of like an out clause, because again, I have to pay this too. There's no point in us continuously paying for things if we don't feel it's benefiting us.
Do we have any statistics? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just had a few things I wanted to say. I went to the Verdemont Neighbor Association meeting
they hired a community director from Rancho that worked with the housing parks and schools over there that now get me working with San Bernardino. And also, Lieutenant Eric Fife was there, and he said, actually, we still live in a pretty good neighborhood. He said he had 10 reports for the last 30 days. And I just wanted to share that with you for those who didn't go to the meeting. And I've had experience with security people. I used to manage apartments and mobile home parks, and they're not exactly what your expectations would be. That's been my experience.
And that's where my question is, do we have any like statistics or anything that says like, okay, Pasadena or San Diego did this and they saw an improvement? Like, is there anything like that?
Actually, I had them at the last meeting, and we
Okay.
actually had security company
Okay.
here to kind of ask questions. But from the improvement districts that I researched, they did have statistics, that showed the decrease in amounts of like vehicle thefts, burglaries. One thing I did note though is we have to keep in mind, our neighborhood is a little different. You know, one of the statistics I found was a university district, and the crimes they had were a lot like murder. We don't have those kind of crimes, thank God. So I gave that disclosure because I want to be fully transparent. In quoting those statistics, they might be dramatic, and we say, oh wow, that's really good, but at the same time, you have to keep in mind, it was a different type of neighborhood.
And I
Full
appreciate
disclosure, I have 5 minutes before I have to pass out.
So do you guys have any other questions for Nicole as regards to how an improvement district would work? Anything specifically in regards to the improvement district?
What would, we would vote for this, and all of a sudden the security officer guard is out there. What will it look like? Somebody's gonna be driving around in a car.
It depends on the security firm you hire. Like, I personally only am familiar with the security firms out of the Sacramento area. I don't know any of them down here. But I know the security firms that our districts hire out of Sacramento, they're armed, they're in patrol cars, they're on foot, they're interacting with the business owners, the property owners, they're interacting with the homeless population. They take these districts that they work and they make them part of their community. They instill themselves in them. So if you hire a good security firm, and this would be part of the selection process, is are you gonna have the same 2 to 4 drivers circulating throughout the month? Are these people going to get out of their cars, and are they gonna interact with you guys and get to know who you guys are? Most of these firms will start, whoever you hire should be attending your monthly meetings, should be going to any other neighborhood watch meetings that are going on, because that's what makes a good security guard, is somebody who gets to know the community. Because then they're gonna know that person doesn't belong here. I've never seen that person in my life, and they're gonna stop and they're gonna be like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I just moved here. Oh, well great. This is who we are, and it's nice to meet you. Or, sketch, and the guy's gonna take off. So that's my recommendation. That's the security firms that I have dealt with in Sacramento and that our districts hire there.
And that's why we did have one here last time. Again, I just researched them. It doesn't mean that's the one we're going with. I don't know them from Adam. They volunteered. They said, if you want me to come to your meeting, we'll come, and they did. And it was really cool because we had them as well as the PD here to kind of bounce questions off of, to ask, well, what can you do? Give them situations to see how they would react, how they, what their powers, I guess you would say. But again, we would hopefully come together and decide that as a community. I hope that somebody would come forward that has the background in law enforcement to be able to kind of vet the security company that ultimately we would go with. That's what I would recommend.
Nicole, so let's say, because I know you have to go. So next step for us as a community, let's say that there's half of us in here that agree we like the idea. We obviously can't implement anything until the improvement district is done, approved, and gone through all that red tape. Do we start petitioning and getting signatures now, or do we, because I know you said that's part of your process, at what point do we contract you? Because I know the city, we're trying to have the city help fund you, so like tomorrow, what would be our next step?
So it depends on how you go about this. I know we have the city here, so I have not, in full disclosure, talked to the city. I haven't talked to any city employees besides tonight. Typically, P-bids, we, on initial formation, do contract with the local jurisdiction. It's set up as a loan that is paid back through assessment funding once the district is established. So that would be the first step, is to start negotiating who we would be contracting with and who would be providing that funding. One thing that jurisdictions have done is they have asked the community to sign a letter in support of exploring the concept. And that shows the city council, because we will need city council's approval, because it's above the city manager's threshold, that there is a community interest in setting up this assessment district, and that there is a committee willing to kind of take it through the entire 12-month process.
So we need signatures saying that we're interested in exploring the idea before even a dime is paid out.
Yes,
Okay.
that's my recommendation. And then having that committee of residents that are willing to champion this and willing to go door to door and build support over the service parameters that you guys would like to see, and over that assessment budget that you guys need to provide those services.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Any other questions for Nicole?
I'm gonna leave these here.
Okay. She has some handouts that you guys can grab. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
And if
Nicole,
you do
for
have any
coming.
questions, just let Kim know. She has my information, and we'll be chatting.
Thank you. Have a
Thank you,
safe
guys.
flight. Thank you very
Thanks.
much. All right, so. I think a lot was covered. How are you guys feeling about it? I want your guys' feedback, because again, this is my third meeting. I don't want to keep doing this if you guys don't want it. Yes, sir.
I have a question as far as the Verdemont community. What is the community based on as far as the boundaries north, south, east, and west? Do we know?
Well, I did get
Verdemont is-
boundaries for
what
Verdemont
area is
Heights,
considered?
basically what is considered Verdemont Heights, and we actually extend all the way to Campus Parkway, but only the left side where those work-live homes are, that's technically Verdemont, and then all the way to where, the custom homes are on Myers Road,
Yeah.
so that stretch is technically what they consider Verdemont.
And then from the freeway up,
No,
No,
actually,
no.
Kindle up.
Kendall up.
Yeah. So nothing above Kindle. And we would not include the apartments. The last meeting, we spoke about that, and as a community, we decided that we would not want to include the apartments.
And they're
the rest of the
technically a
apartments.
commercial business anyway, so their owner has their own private security, so.
Also, I see the number of residents here, but I saw the little flyers on the side of the mailboxes. So it's like, are the homeowners not reading them or not seeing them? Or are they not interested?
I can't answer that.
I received a lot of feedback that there's certain prior engagements. We saw a lot of kids at the park on the way over here, so there's gonna be sports. There's
Newmark
gonna
had
be
their
people that
boards,
work late. There's just gonna be, I had never been to a community meeting before because they always fall on Tuesdays, and it was our son's soccer practice. So they might be interested, and we did get a lot of feedback asking for to
Information.
post what the results are, to give them information back. So there are a lot of people interested, but they weren't able to make it. And like Kim said, she started this entire thing because she made a poll. There was a lot of people who were on board, and she decided to look further into it. So I don't believe anyone would have, taken their time knowing it's not going to result in anything. I think we're all seeing the changes that are going on, and we want to see what the options are. There are going to be some that are not interested, and there's going to be some that are, but it's to inform everyone of everything that they've already researched and go on to the next step. So, yeah, you can have 6 more meetings, and you'll still get, the same maybe 20 people, and eventually those 20 people are gonna say, you know what, we've done it, we've participated in these meetings, it's not going any further, what's the point of this anymore? So we definitely want to move in the direction of
getting everyone informed. The little camera is hopefully at least recording the video so that any questions can be answered
For those
for
that
what
weren't
has
able to
taken
attend.
place. And then we also sent a message, you know, asking if you guys will not be able to attend, we still want to answer your questions, please email them in. Not everyone's going to drive by the mailbox. Not everyone has a Nextdoor app or a Facebook app. There will still be a lot of people who are missing the information. For that same reason, we're hoping to get a lot more community participation in just talking
Having
to
foot
each
soldiers
other.
too.
Yeah.
Foot soldiers to go and spread the word to your
Yeah,
neighbors.
and you can share a good, bad, you know, it's gonna take the entire community. And yeah, it's not everyone's gonna be on board, but I think there is a lot of interest in just meeting a few of the people. Just today, the homelessness issue has been one more thing added to where a gal today that I came across said she can't go on a walk early in the morning anymore because they're coming into the neighborhoods and going into the bushes, and it's an issue. And it's the community patrol isn't gonna take all the crime away, but it will hopefully lower it. We have a dog, a security alarm, and we're home all day. It doesn't matter what we have going on. Someone might decide, hey, they've got something I want. It's not gonna be 100% that no one's gonna break in, no one's gonna
Well, I
attempt
think that
anything.
10 too, I know several people just on my street. I myself have had my car broken into. I've lived here my whole life at least 4 or 5 times. I've never once called the police and reported that. My mail's been stolen several times. I've never once called the police and reported that because I know that's gonna sit on a desk. It's not a priority item. Doesn't mean it's not happening just because the calls, they're not getting the calls. You know, so while I appreciate that statistic, I don't feel that that's an accurate statement for the things going on in our neighborhood.
I hear stories all the time of stuff happening, so.
Yeah.
It's like,
We
not
nailed
accurate at all.
a couple of cops who have been broken into or had their cars stolen. So it's not gonna stop anyone. But I do think, just from the small feedback that I've received, there is a lot of interest.
And I think the positive thing for me in researching this, like when I called Pasadena, and again, please forgive me because I don't have all those stats here in hand, but I saw their improvement district had been in effect for well over a decade. Obviously something's working, because why would they keep renewing it? And again, it's not the city that's imposing that on them. It's they're electing to continue on with this improvement district. So obviously something has to be benefiting and working for them. They're seeing some kind of benefit. Again, too, I liked the whole aspect of the clauses to where if for any reason this is not working for us, we can get out of it. I liked not really being stuck into something. But again, I obviously do see a benefit. I wouldn't have taken so much time to research this if I didn't see a benefit.
What area of Pasadena are you talking about?
This is downtown Pasadena.
In downtown Pasadena, on the
Mostly
businesses?
businesses.
This is property, yes, a PBID, Property and Business Improvement District.
So Colorado Boulevard in downtown Pasadena?
I believe that is part of their district, Colorado Boulevard. Yeah, I mean,
So
it's
you're not
large.
talking about the whole city of Pasadena?
No.
No,
No.
because you're
well,
not.
that's what they were
Okay,
saying, it's
there
not a
are-
residential thing usually, right?
Yes, that's why it would be a precedent, yeah. There's university districts, there's property and business improvement districts. This would be a residential improvement district. There's different types of improvement districts.
You know that, but my problem is that what you're saying our mail's never gonna be stolen anymore, my car.
No one's
nobody's
saying
saying
that.
that at all.
Nobody's saying that. I'm letting this be known right now.
Okay.
Private patrol is not going to eradicate crime. Crime is always going to take place, regardless of how many police officers we have, how many patrols we put out there, there's going to be crime. This is to serve as a deterrent and hopefully lower crime. But this will never take away crime.
Yes.
I don't want to put that out there. I'm not saying that.
Yes, sir, he had a question.
Okay, my concern with good old San Bernardino, if we were to have this and this supplemental police officers, I'm sorry, security and graffiti, that they would make some decisions to reduce our police patrol, reduce our graffiti removal and reduce our services,
Yeah.
since they say, well, they have it anyway, therefore we'll reallocate our resources somewhere else.
Yeah, we did.
The problem is we can't reduce what we don't have.
That was brought up with the last one, and unfortunately, it won't reduce because we don't have enough police. That's the problem. That's why we're looking into this right now. This is not to take away what we are entitled to. We are still tax-paying citizens. When it comes to graffiti removal, when it comes to police protection, that's why I say still call 911. Even so much for the reporting aspect of it, but it doesn't take the place of city services. And I don't think, I know that a lot of people may have negative opinions about our city, but I don't think our city feels like, oh, I'm great, they're fending for themselves now, let's forget about Verdemont. I don't think that's the case at all.
The
But
alarm went off and it took about 35 minutes to come around, so it's not I still got charged for it.
Yeah.
But it's like 35 minutes later, they've already stolen everything they're gone.
you got charged for it?
Well, yeah, they
Yeah,
charge
you charge.
$50.
And I'm sorry, the county, the city, charge everybody.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's like the fake, have you ever seen the cutout of a cop car on the freeway? It makes everybody slow down, even though it's just a piece of paper, wood. It's the same thing with this. It's $13 for some guy to drive around. It's a deterrent. It's all it is.
That's what it is. It's a deterrent.
Well, there are other benefits too that I found interesting.
Oh, yes.
Like, they have designated cell phones that are just for our, because they're contracted just for us. So let's say there's 3,000 homes that are in our district, so they only patrol those 3,000 homes. And they have designated cell phones to where if somebody's in a domestic violence situation that can't pick up the phone, call 911, they can text, I need help, or if they're in a situation where they can't just call, they do have just designated phones to where if you see someone creeping in your neighborhood, you can just call that cell phone direct and say, hey, I'm here, come here now because this guy looks really sketchy. Or you can text and say, I can't call, but I need help, this is my address. So there were different benefits that I thought were unique and definitely above and beyond what we would get, from San Bernardino. We can't text San Bernardino PD if we need help, but I do think those little extra benefits I found to be, just cherries on top.
And knowing that they are going to be in our area already and can get to our home within 2 to 3 minutes.
And
is an
Verdemont
added
does go all the way to
plus.
campus, but that doesn't mean that has to be our boundary. I think the boundary that Kim quoted, it, correct me if I'm wrong, was just to all the way east of Pine.
It was to campus because that's
Was it to
what, yeah,
campus?
it was
Oh,
to
okay.
campus. But again, we can modify. These are things that we can decide. I personally think it's kind of weird to just include part of a street because it's only the left side, not the right side. So you don't have to include Campus Parkway. Those work-live homes, there's only
10 of them.
like 10 of them. So it really wouldn't make that much of a difference to exclude them out of the improvement district. Really quick, he had to add something to his.
I can see who raised the question about diluting city services, but that's an excellent point. I mean, and we all, if you have kids, the squeaky wheel, you try to give even love and time and attention to everybody, and so I think that's a real concern that you should have. And while it's easy for me to stand here and say, oh, that would never happen, if there's other needs screaming, I think there's an accountability that would need to continue to happen from your community, through your council member, et cetera, however, to City Hall, to if you have any sense that that's happening, kind of thing, that you are communicating, connecting, because again, easy to sit here and say that would never happen, but I'm one person, there's 650 employees type of thing, and everybody's doing different things, and so I don't want to pass through that comment and say, hey, don't worry about that ever, because I think that's something you want to be thinking about and making sure that, I guess, I don't know if you did heightened graffiti work, which was something she mentioned. Well, we should be removing all the graffiti, maybe not as fast as whatever, but if you have some service and you remove that graffiti, we don't have to now. And so that's I'm not sure how you draw that line, but you want to think through thoughtfully the types of services you put in there to make sure you're not creating that issue by how you've set up the district there.
But would that be with the police? I hope that wouldn't be with the police.
It's already been done in the city because the police department, unless it is a fatal traffic accident, will not respond. Therefore, Highway Patrol is now responding to traffic collisions in the city.
That's actually everywhere.
No.
It doesn't have to be fatal, it has to be blocking traffic.
Yeah.
Or somebody gets
Injured.
injured.
No.
They will respond for it.
The city will not. The city has put out, they are not responding for any injury accident unless it's a fatal.
They've done it for me.
If it's put out, where is it?
Since when did you have your last accident?
2017.
Yeah, well, that's 2017. This is this year they put it out.
Put it out where?
I don't know.
The whole city.
Where is
it posted at?
Do you know where it's posted?
Where is it in
They're not
writing?
posting any of this stuff.
Well, then who's saying it?
What am I saying?
Who is saying
Who's
it?
saying that?
Police department is saying it.
Who on the police department is saying it?
The chief.
My husband had an accident down the street in front of our house, probably 2 years ago, and they wouldn't even do a police report.
Yeah, if there's no injury, most of the time they won't anymore. They don't have the resources for that. But for injury accidents, they're supposed to still come.
I was jogging along Kendall, got hit by a person who was coming back from a wedding reception, and the police officer drove me home and didn't even arrest the driver. But he told him he was too intoxicated to drive. So, and I know this for a fact because I've seen the highway patrol out on 5th Street taking the report within the last 2 weeks. Highway patrol is for county areas and highways. The city is supposed to be doing that.
Well, I think we all know, unfortunately, at this current time, a lot of the city services are diluted already. I think we all know that. Our
They don't
city
have the
just
manpower.
went through a bankruptcy. It is what it is. I mean, we can complain about it, but my thing is, instead of complaining about it, what can we do about it?
They're back on track, they've recovered from.
They are recovering, they definitely are recovering, but as far as, do we have enough police at this point? No, we don't.
And I've called in for graffiti, and they usually have it gone at least by the 7th day.
Yeah. Graffiti is not something that we have to put in again. I think the
That doesn't
main
affect our
point.
quality of life.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, as far as
It's
what we
nice.
want to put in the improvement district, those are just examples of what we could put in the improvement district. That doesn't mean that's what has to go in.
Our one thing is crime.
Yeah,
We
I
want to
think
feel
that,
safe.
yeah.
We all want to feel
I think that was the main contention that everybody had, is tired of going to your mailbox and seeing that it's been pried open and your mail's been taken. Tired of,
I understand that, but your security guard cannot be guarded from single mailbox.
But there will be a presence in the area to
again, this is
deter
for deterrence.
them.
That's the whole purpose of this.
Right now, the only time the police come is when you call.
Or the ones that live there. Because we have a few officers that come on lunch break and they're patrol of Palm.
That was one resident did ask that, and I thought that was really cool. She wanted to have nice signs put up, something to the extent like this neighborhood is monitored 24/7 by patrol, and I think that was a really cool idea. I would like to see that. I definitely would like to see that.
I think actually seeing them patrol around, is enough of a deterrent. Anybody that's going to the mall, if they're up to no good, they're seeing that, they're going to sketch their, idea around it. So if we're seeing that, patrolling, that might be enough for them to say, hey, let's go to the next neighborhood somewhere.
It is about the mailbox being broken. I worked Rancho for 10 years. Doesn't matter. Rancho, most of their apartment buildings had a room where the mailboxes were in the wall. And it didn't matter if there's security, whether there's a police officer roaming around, those things get pried open all the time. The mailboxes are going to get hit. Tweakers are going to go for your ID, for your credit cards, something that they can move fast with.
What's crazy to me though is how much time they have to dig through trash too. You can't tell me that it takes just 60 seconds to dig through someone's blue trash can. For me to see someone digging through my trash and call and have someone there in 3 minutes to say, excuse me, again, deterrent. Doesn't mean that I do believe in that law of, being able to deter and lower crime. It's always going to be there, where there's no such thing as crime free.
Have you decided armed?
Last meeting we had, the majority said armed. For me personally,
And you're trying to say that's fair,
what?
$15 a month
Correct.
Per
for an
household.
arm?
Per
Per
house.
house.
How many properties
That
is
was at
that?
the high end of $30 per
About
hour.
2,900 properties.
Okay.
You have to get willing to,
Somebody breaks into my house, yes, I'll.
okay, can you get to, you're gonna be present. Get
Anybody in this room can say, that's not
Yeah,
how the law
and
works.
Lieutenant Madden was here at the last meeting, it was very informative, because that was my question. If I shoot somebody that comes into my home, what will happen to me? Because I was told by an officer when our home got broken into that I would be going to jail. That I would
And then
probably
you
be
could be
released.
sued, so you better have a
But
lot of
however,
insurance.
I would be taken to jail because I killed somebody. I would have to go through a due process. Again, he said I would more than likely get released, but he did say I would go to jail. So.
You have to interview
Yeah, not to say that you would be prosecuted and proven guilty.
Exactly, but just the whole
Yeah.
fact, I have kids, like I'm not trying to go to jail.
Yeah.
A few hours, you know, I don't, for me, that would be a traumatic experience, knowing that I did something to defend my home, and now I don't know what's gonna happen to me. Like, to me, that bothered me. When I had been violated, to be told that bothered me, so.
But armed or unarmed is something we would have to vote in, to answer your question. The majority of people last meeting that were here, and there was about 30, said armed, I think.
And that costs about $15 a month?
Yeah, for the armed.
Let's do it.
I just ran the math, what that is, you said it's 2,900 homes you're talking about, potentially?
It's 2,816.
Okay, well, I did 2,900, at $15 a month, it's $180 a year per parcel, it's over $500,000, and so that's the bucket of cash you're talking about to cover whatever admin costs and then the security.
If you have a security guard that's a retired cop, that's one thing. If you have security guards that cannot be cops, for whatever reason, okay, they can't get past their psychological test, for whatever, they have a pass, they have a criminal pass. You want them to have guns?
You can't really have a gun.
There's a lot of people walking around with guns that I don't want to have guns.
People that don't want having guns, but what I am saying is that you're talking about a security guard. If they can be a security guard with a gun, how come they can't be a cop?
Well, that's
Well, the
up to
cost
us
difference.
to interview
Yeah.
companies. The last company that was
Are you
here
saying that
was
why
a
don't we have a
retired
cop
police
here
officer.
to patrol?
They were a military
We're
police
saying
officer.
retired cops, which I don't have a problem with. But a security guard, most security guards cannot be.
No, that's the, what's the.
Well, there's plenty
plenty
of
that are
security
retired.
guards that are retired cops. If it's a retired cop, he's no longer a cop, he did a security
No,
guard.
she's saying the people who couldn't qualify to be a cop and had to settle to be a security guard.
Yeah, there you go.
we
That's
wouldn't
what
hire
she's
them.
not
We wouldn't
retired.
hire
Yeah,
them.
we
It
wouldn't.
would be up to us to decide who we
What I'm
hire.
saying is, yeah, if you have a security guard that was a retired cop and he's running around with a gun, I don't have a problem. If you have a security guard out there that cannot be a cop, that has failed at trying to be a cop, he's a wannabe cop with a gun, I have a problem.
So I think that's where,
And that's understandable.
yeah, I would be, yeah, that's
That's like,
understandable. That's where we do our research.
police officers are racist.
Well, I mean, but technically,
Family cops here, so,
Well,
no.
I'm a retired cop. But
Okay.
that's-
And
that's
he is
exact-
now a
that's what
security
you-
guard,
That's exactly
so-
what you're saying about a security. You don't know that person, and it can be any, there can be any reason somebody cannot make it through an academy. Asthma is one. Asthma is one.
But he's gonna be a security guard instead.
Because he can do it, yes, he can.
But we can do, as a community, do our due diligence and interview companies that hire with certain criteria.
The whole neighborhood or
well, I don't think it's bickering. I think if she has concerns, she needs to have.
Yeah, I have teachers, I think background check, teachers.
Your questions are valid.
First thing
Your questions are
you
valid.
Criminal pass, some of
is
them
the neighborhood in
low
on this.
level.
Yeah, that's the number one step. It's all pointless conversation until we get enough people to say yes, yeah.
You need 30. That's the first thing you said. You should go
30% to start, 30% to start, and 50% to get it voted in is what she said. So we need 30% of those 3,000 votes to round up.
Wouldn't you want to go door to door, like you said?
Yeah,
and we've been
find
trying
out
to-
if you have that 50%, at least,
Yeah.
before we even sit down and do this mess.
Well, no, not necessarily, because I think it's important for us to come together as a community and talk about things. We can waste all our time going door to door. We have lives too, so again, this needs to be a community effort. We are just a few people, we cannot do it all. So yes, this needs to be a community effort. We need to sit together in a room, unify, and talk about things. People have concerns, people have questions. There's no point in us wasting our time.
Knocking on, that's a lot of
That's a
doors,
lot
that's
of doors.
1,500
That needs
doors.
to be the first step.
Yeah,
And I
to
agree.
implement,
The lady
correct.
just said
implement.
it's 20, what, 20,
But again, we need
Well,
to get to
that's why
that.
we need your help.
Exactly.
That is
Yeah.
why we need your
So why
help.
don't we go door to door first?
Yeah.
With the plan. First off, if you have this patrol, has anybody done a study to see, it's two patrols, 24 hours, right?